You need people like me. You need people like me so you can point your fingers and say, that's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy. That's the bad guy.
Okay, we'll start with this. Former champion Subriel Matias can't believe he suffered his first knockout loss. Subriel Matias can't wrap his mind around what just happened. The 33-year-old Puerto Rican making the first defense of his WBC 140-pound title against Dalton Smith this past weekend was leading on two judges' scorecards when a hard combination in the fifth round sent him to the canvas. He was able to get up, but referee Ricky Gonzalez decided he was too hurt badly to continue and waved it off. I had on two of the three judges' scorecards. What? I had Dalton Smith winning the first two rounds. 3 and 4 were a nip and tuck. I think Dalton Smith arguably won the third round too. I don't see how anybody could have had it for Subriel Matias.
Yes, you do.
Home field advantage is a real thing, and so is home cooking. Losing his belt stings, but losing by stoppage had been unfathomable, even against a good puncher like Smith. I never thought I would get knocked out in my career, Matias said on the self-recorded video posted to his Instagram account. For the first time they stopped me. It's something I used to do to others. Adding to the pain is the fact that Matias believes he could have continued fighting at Brooklyn's Barclays Center. I feel like it was a bad stoppage, he said, but that's boxing. There's a referee and he did what he thought was right. Was it the right call though? Was he right to stop the fight? It looked to me like Subriel Matias could have continued. He struggled to get back on his feet, and his equilibrium did look off. But I've seen fights allowed to continue in that same situation. I've seen fighters get the benefit of the doubt. Matias must now try to figure out what went wrong and begin the rebuilding process a second time. He lost his IBF title to Liam Barro in June of 2024, but Liam won a decision. Dalton forced a stoppage, and I'm afraid that even going back to the drawing board now, potentially hiring a new training team, and trying out some new tricks. Maybe a day late and $1 short. Subriel Matias was always known as a very aggressive pressure fighter with leaky defense, but because he was durable enough to take the punches, he was still viewed as dangerous. Now, after this stoppage, he may never take a punch the same. Joe Joyce doesn't. Ever since he got knocked out by Zhilei Zhang, you see his punch resistance, it ain't what it was, and there ain't no crowd of people calling him no juggernaut. Could be the case for Subriel Matias. The odds of a pressure fighter like Subriel Matias changing are slim to nil because pressure fighters generally don't change much from one fight to the next, and you tack on his age, 33 years old. A fighter by that time is set in their ways. There's only so many new tricks you can teach them when the old habits are embedded. We could try to move up to the welterweight division, which could be a more forgiving weight for him, where he might feel stronger and a bit more durable. If Rolly Romero can win a title up there, and Mario Barrios can win a title up there, Subriel might be all right.
Might.
There is a legitimate argument that the gene pool is actually deeper at 140 than it is at 147. What you got at 147 is a lot of young guys who moved up from 135, many of which aren't very good. He can try that, see if it adds something to his punch resistance, to his durability. The caveat is, you move up to welterweight, well, eventually you're going to have to fight welterweights. You're going to bump into guys that are bigger than the guys you normally fight. Bigger, punch harder. Guy like Subriel Matias, you have to enjoy them while they last, because nothing really does. It's only a matter of time before an otherwise durable fighter isn't durable anymore. Of all the different base styles that are out there, and all the different nuances they might come with, pressure fighting, while a fan favorite, making for very entertaining fights, offers the least longevity of all base styles, because constantly coming forward, you're constantly in the line of fire.
Constantly getting hit.
Top tier, top shelf pressure fighters, slip and roll, bob and weave, catch and counter, they show some semblance of defense, but Subriel, his has always been leaky. He's always taken punishment.
I wish him all the best. I hope that he can rebuild.
This is his third professional loss and his first knockout loss. The first time you get knocked out, it just gets easier after that to get knocked out again and again.
It's tough, but those are the breaks.
I don't see this guy winning a title again at 140 pounds. He might be better off moving up to 147, which is comparatively weaker. Though overall, his ability to hold a shot may have been so compromised by this weekend's fight that he can never go back to being who he was before. And what's a pressure fighter with no chin?
Knockout waiting to happen.
It's hard to forecast. When does an otherwise durable fighter stop being durable? When exactly? Because it's only a matter of time.
The trick is figuring out when time is up.
For Subriel, it might be. Men's light heavyweight news you may have heard from Dmitry Bivol's manager. Expect Dmitry back soon versus his mandatory challenger, Germany's own unbeaten Michael Eiffert, who is finally getting his crack at the apple at, what has it been? 2 years in limbo, 2 years in waiting. Unified light heavyweight champion Dmitry Bivol is aiming for a return fight in March or April, casting his attention on IBF mandatory challenger Michael Eiffert. Bivol's manager Vadim Kornilov told Boxing Scene on Tuesday that his 35-year-old fighter recovering from August back surgery is expected to launch training soon in Kyrgyzstan. We've seen training footage of Dmitry Bivol back in action. It looks like he's put back on some weight. Immediately after the surgery, images of him showed guy must have lost at least 15-20 pounds.
He's back to looking solid again, on his toes, off the jab, fluid motion.
Bivol, 24-1, last fought in February of last year, defeating Russia's then undefeated champion Artur Beterbiev in a compelling rematch. Bivol avenged his lone career defeat 4 months after Beterbiev's riveting majority decision win in 2024. I don't get the impression that either fighter is thinking about moving up to cruiser.
These guys have been campaigning at light heavyweight for as long as I can remember.
But perhaps they're able to still make this weight because the Eastern Europeans don't seem to balloon in weight as much as the Americans. In between fights, gorging and stuffing their faces. Remember, David Benavidez is a younger man than either Artur Beterbiev or Dmitry Bivol. Oddly enough, he's the one that was busting at the seams, and he's the one who ended up having to move up.
Fat.
While Bivol left Riyadh as the undisputed light heavyweight champion, he did not keep the WBC title for very long. The two-time champion vacated the WBC title, which was awarded to David Benavidez. Bivol still holds the other three. Germany's Eiffert has been out of the ring even longer than Bivol. He's not had a fight since August 24 of 2024, as he waited for his overdue mandatory title shot. The inactivity protected his number one ranking, though now he faces the daunting task against one of the best fighters in the world.
If you haven't seen Michael Eiffert, I would advise you watch the Jean Pascal fight, which put on display Michael Eiffert's fleet of foot, movement, and boxing. He looks like a pure boxer, not big on power, big on movement.
Was his most prominent win, the one over Jean Pascal in 2023, where he became the IBF's number one contender and, in effect, the mandatory challenger. Bivol was widely recognized by most outlets, including Boxing Scene, as the 2022 Fighter of the Year when he defeated Canelo Alvarez, who briefly moved up after becoming undisputed champion at super middle.
Bivol beat him.
Immediately after that, he also beat Mexico's own Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez, who is now a unified cruiserweight champion, and en route to a David Benavidez fight.
As Dimitri's en route to a Michael Eiffert fight. Michael Eiffert, who makes for an anticlimactic opponent for Dimitri's big ring return, unless Dmitry takes it upon himself to hit the gas, be aggressive, like he was with Malik Zinad.
And Lyndon Arthur stepping into his punches, throwing combinations, looking for the knockout, looking to get the guy out of there. The night of, both men will be shaking off ring rust, both Dmitry and Michael. Really doesn't help Michael's case, though, that he will be stepping up in class significantly.
Going in cold.
The expectation is that this fight is a prelude to an Artur Beterbiev trilogy that should Dmitry emerge victorious after this. he will go back into talks to face Artur for a third time.
Financed by the IBA.
Though, of course, holding 3 of the 4 major titles at the weight, taking care of one mandatory, one of the others may scupper those plans. I figure that at age 35, I figure what decisions are made on Dmitry Bivol's behalf now are in the best interest of finance more than legacy, since he's already done the legacy thing. He beat Canelo, he's got a win over Zerto that's aging really well, and of course the win over Better Beef for what was undisputed. He's already held all the alphabet titles, even if it was only momentarily. He did that. He made that history. He is this division's last undisputed champion, so that now I think they're gonna focus on money. I think they're gonna focus on the retirement fund, and what decisions they make will be based on that.
The Artur Better Beef trilogy offers up more money than any other fight right now, so I expect them to revisit that fight after the Eiffert fight. How he looks in the Eiffert fight is going to be pretty important too. Last in action in February. That means the night of, Dmitry will have been out for over a year. Michael will have been out longer than that.
And Artur, who's older than both, will have been out a substantial amount of time too. Does he have any intentions of taking in a tune-up fight before going into a trilogy with Dmitry? Some might say that Dmitry's aging him out.
I think that's bullshit. Those are just bitter Better Beef fans who were hoping he'd win both fights.
There's some who tried to blame Dmitry, of all people, for the fight taking as long to make as it did, when there's a paper trail of evidence that says otherwise. It was actually Bob. It was actually Top Rank and Artur's people who poured cold water on the fight for years. They were always lukewarm to making it.
It's only because of Turkey that we got it, because he was willing to overpay.
And the delay to the third fight? Dimitri's surgery?
Doesn't strike me as the kind of guy to fake an injury to get out of a fight. Some guys might. It's not the impression I get from this guy, these guys. These Eastern Europeans are pretty straight shooters and not guilty of the catty behaviors we often see in the West, more particular to this conversation in the American boxing scene.
Having to get that back surgery may have inconvenienced Artur, but how many times has Artur inconvenienced fighters with his multitude of injuries?
But he likes their own medicine.
Finally, in men's heavyweight news, former champion Tyson Fury clarifies current weight and hits back at chubby jibes. Tyson Fury has responded to comments he is looking a bit chubby as he plots his return to boxing, having announced his last retirement in January of 2025 following 2 defeats to Alexander Usyk 2024. Fury confirmed earlier this month he would return to the ring this year. While Fury kept training and remained in the gym throughout his year in retirement, the Gypsy King has seemingly stepped up his preparations in Thailand this week and has hit back at suggestions he isn't in shape or serious about a return. The Gypsy King has not taken this lightly whatsoever. I've had a few comments I'm looking a bit hinge, chubby, fat. Well, welcome to my world, Fury said on Instagram. Never been any different. Beat everybody with a fat belly. I'm weighing about 20 stone, 127 kilograms at the moment. Probably get back to under 19, maybe, for a comeback. Nice and loose and fast. Really looking forward to it. Been away for a while, but I'm back now.
And he's not wrong. Even a prime Tyson Fury, 10, 11 years ago, was never body beautiful. He always had a spare tire. Always had a greedy belly.
When he beat Wilder from pillar to post, he wasn't body beautiful when he did that. So the real gauge for what Tyson Fury has left to give the sport of boxing isn't going to be based on his midsection. It's actually going to be based on his feet. How well he can still move, since that's always been his best weapon. Range control, being light on his feet.
That and his reflexes. A sharper at this age.
Had a year out, and if I box in the first quarter, could be up to 16 months out of the ring. That's a long time for a man, 37 years old, 38 this year. Let's see if I've still got it. WBO heavyweight champion Fabio Wortley has said he would be willing to fight Fury upon his return. After beating Joseph Parker in October, Wortley picked up the WBO title after it was vacated by Alexander Usyk in November of last year. I'd more than welcome it, Wortley told Sky Sports. It would be a fight that I'm hugely up for. I like to target the big names in the division, the big boys, the top players. Fury is one of them.
Association with all the news of Tyson Fury's ring return, his dad, Big John Fury, is set to join his training camp. John Fury has revealed he will play a more active role in Tyson Fury's next training camp, speaking directly to Gold Star's Instagram page. Fury Sr. admitted Tyson was not in good shape currently and said his focus now is to bring him back to his aggressive, unpredictable, herky-jerky style that made him a nightmare for opponents at his peak. Can this father and son duo make Tyson Fury a 3-time heavyweight champion?
Depends on how much longer it takes for Usyk to walk away, for Usyk to retire and relinquish what alphabet titles he still holds. Hypothetically speaking, if Usyk were to retire right now via the WBA, Murat Gassiev would be elevated to full champion.
Murat Gassiev is a winnable fight for Tyson Fury. Even now, at 37 years old, Murat Gassiev's feet were too slow for the fleet of foot Otto Wallin.
Could also be too slow for today's Tyson Fury, even at 37 going on 38 years old, because Fury is noticeably taller and noticeably longer and still more nimble than Murat Gassiev ever was. That, theoretically, presents a winnable fight for Tyson that could see him crowned a 3-time heavyweight champion, though the guys he's looking at right now,
I think I heard them say he's looking at Arslanbek Makhmudov and Efe Ajagba for a comeback fight,
which could then eventually segue into a Fabio Wortley showdown, which compared to a Gassiev fight is a lot bigger, it is a lot better, and you figure that with all the money that Tyson Fury has already made from the sport of boxing, if he's coming out of retirement, it's gotta be for a big payday, a big bag. Fabio gets him a bigger bag than Murat Gassiev.
Anthony Joshua gets him a bigger bag than both.
We know that what remains of Anthony Joshua's boxing career is in the air. Some speculate, given what he just experienced, that car wreck and 2 of his friends dying, he might call it a career off of that. He might. Or he might continue to fight on, in their honor.
That wouldn't surprise me either.
But until he officially retires, we cannot rule out the possibility that he may have that showdown with Tyson Fury after all. That if Tyson Fury is back, it's not just about winning a belt or some belts. It's about making the most money you can while you can. At the top of that totem pole is Anthony.
Second would have to be Fabio.
Third is pretty much everybody else. Tyson Fury's ring return, whether you like him or not, is sure to get attention and move the needle in the United Kingdom, even if he's not everything that he was.
He doesn't have to be to stay interesting. He's still someone that you might like to see fight this new crop of champions.
There is still a place for Tyson Fury in today's heavyweight division. Now let's see how long it takes him to return to action. Will it be in the first quarter? Maybe the second?
We'll see.